Hello from Canada Place in Vancouver, Canada. This is Royal Caribbean's Brilliance of the Seas. I'm going to be spending the next 7 nights on board, enjoying a cruise around the glaciers of Alaska.
As I'm pretty new to cruising, I've put together some tips about how to embark a cruise liner here at Vancouver Port. I'd sure appreciate a subscribe if you enjoyed this video.
Let's recap the boarding experience for Royal Caribbean's Brilliance of the Seas here at Canada Place or Vancouver Cruise Port. These are my top 10 tips. I would advise cruisers to prepare in advance for their Royal Caribbean cruise by downloading the Royal Caribbean app and filling out all of the guest information that Royal Caribbean asks for, and that does include your health status. I checked in online long before boarding and gave my health status information and whatever else they required. It made everything very straightforward when I was going through security. Secondly, you get to choose your preferred time of arrival, and Royal Caribbean really want you to stick to that time. This minimises peak flows in their already busy process. I chose 12 to 12:30 as my arrival window for some very specific reasons. First, I had to check out of my hotel here in Vancouver at 11 a.m, and I didn't fancy hanging around with luggage. And I also thought it was sensible to get on board and have lunch on board. I was 10 minutes early, but nobody gave me any hassle about it. On arrival at the cruise port at Canada Place, I was utterly confused about where to go. To be honest, this could have been much easier if signs had been provided. There are 3 cruises departing from Vancouver today, so there were thousands of people milling about as the departure times appear to be very similar. Shout out to the one member of staff who showed me where to shortcut the general mayhem to find the check-in zone for Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean staff members were a delight during the check-in process. Now, I completed an online check-in, and at the end of that process, I was provided with a barcode. This was scanned, my ID was checked, and then I joined a much longer line shared between those 3 cruise lines, Royal Caribbean, Princess, and Holland America. That's because this was a line for security and ultimately for the US border and immigration. As I'm part of the global entry program, I was able to bypass the long line at the US border. If you use the global entry system, you do need to be vocal and aware and ask where the global entry line is. Now, this is only when you get to the US border part, not previously. It wasn't clearly marked, and not all staff members are aware about global entry. Now, the only way to shortcut all of the mayhem, the queuing and the lines is to be a priority guest. And for Royal Caribbean, that comes either with having the appropriate status or having booked a more expensive room than I did. After the US border, the lines simply melt away, and passengers filter towards their own cruise ship. This was a bit of a walk, which is fine for me, but if you need to take your time, there were seats scattered along that path, so you could rest if you need to. A security guard checked my barcode and directs you towards the on-ramp onto the ship. The entirety of the process from arriving at the cruise port to standing on board the ship was approximately 1 hour, though at times it felt a lot longer. There's a short ramp that gets passengers onto, I believe, deck 5. The elevators are right there, and there's a staff member waiting to help you with any questions that you have.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Good. I'm on deck 4.
Yes,
I
sir.
need to go that way. Is that right?
Yeah, one deck down. One deck down.
Oh, one deck down from here.
Yes.
Note that staterooms are not available as soon as you board if you were relatively early in the process like me. That's due to the extremely tight turnaround time from the ship arriving in port, the previous passengers disembarking, and new passengers coming on board. However, the Windjammer Cafe, which is the general buffet restaurant, was open and serving lunch. And so I went there and stocked up on some fish and salad. There were lots of other options.
While you're exploring the ship, we'd like to remind you of our mandatory guest safety briefing process.
One further note about safety. If you have downloaded the app, you are prompted to start your safety briefing even before you arrive at the cruise port. That has 3 parts. The first requires you to watch and listen to a very short video about how to put on a life jacket. Secondly, you must listen to a recording of the ship's horn, which sounds out 7 short and 1 long blasts. That's the alert for an emergency. You need to recognize that. That's definitely up here. When you've done both those things, your app updates to show it. Once on board, you must physically go to your assigned muster station, in my case on deck 5, where a member of staff is waiting to greet you. Once they've scanned your boarding pass, they can see that you've completed the other steps, and then the app updates to show that you have completed your safety screening, and that safety screening is mandatory. For those without smartphones, Royal Caribbean staff will perform an in-person safety briefing at the muster stations. That's the update about the boarding experience. Does that line up with your experience of getting on board a Royal Caribbean ship? Let me know about your experiences in the comments below.
I've got 3 final travel tips if you like to budget. Book early if you want to stay in Vancouver pre or post cruise. I found this incredibly expensive because I booked my cruise last minute, well, a couple of weeks before. One night in a hotel was more than half the cost of the entire 7-night cruise. Don't be like me.
Recently, Royal Caribbean changed its rules, stating what guests could or could not bring on board. Now, for people who like a glass of wine and haven't bought the all-inclusive alcohol package, then guests were permitted to bring on board 2 750ml bottles of wine, white or red or possibly sparkling. That's been reduced to only 1 per person. Now, if you have 3 or 4 people staying in your stateroom, that gives you 3 or 4 bottles. Now, I'm not drinking on this particular cruise, and I don't drink enough soda or coffee to warrant buying one of those packages, and so I use the other allowance that Royal Caribbean allows, which is up to 12 500ml bottles of water or soda of your choice. I bought those yesterday in port in Vancouver and brought them on board in a big plastic bag, and that is what is currently in my cooler. So we literally just started to pull away from the quay, and people are starting to gather out here on the decks to be able to see us leaving Vancouver Port.
For my final tip, just before you leave Vancouver, make use of your phone's internet connection. Your phone will not work at sea, except when you're in port, and only then if you've got an appropriate data package with your phone company, or an eSIM. I recommend the best one on my website. Your cruise ship does have internet, but usually for quite a steep price with slow bandwidth, and it doesn't always work, often only fast enough to send and receive emails and for light browsing. If you don't want to pay the extra charge or care about the speed, download the shows, games and apps you love to watch offline and use any connection you do find for emails and social media.
Join me for other videos from this particular cruise by clicking on the playlist Royal Caribbean Alaska. Please subscribe, it would really help me out. And until the next episode, take care. Bye bye.